you think like, okay, like, I mean, like you think it's going to get easier, but it just gets difficult because now, like, it's just the internal work that God has done and needs to do in order to be the leader that I needed to be. I didn't understand how painful at times it would be, and how painful it is, even now. And so you start that. He starts to do the surgery on your heart. But the beautiful thing is he brings people in to your life to help you. I was praying, like, there was a church. I tried to get the guy, and I'm not going to bring his name up, but he's a pretty well known guy, and he was a sports chaplain, but he became a big time name. And I asked, and I'd been baptized at that church, and I asked if I could meet with him because, like, I was like, I feel like he could help me, and they came back and said that that's not going to happen. Basically you can meet with me or like go find another church. And I was kind of like, well, shoot, man, like, it was very discouraging. And then, like, I ended up sitting next to, I went to it's called the Finish Strong breakfast, and I sat next to a guy named Dave Dravecki, who's a former MLB All-Star. He has been in ministry for a long time. He's a speaker, and he's missing his arm because he had gotten cancer in his arm, and when he was pitching, so he got cancer in his arm, and he came back to pitch again. And, as he's pitching in that season, and he tells the story way better than me. Like, so I don't want to do his story. His arm ended up snapping. It was the pitch heard around the world, and he had to get his arm removed. And, he ends up, through his relationship with Jesus, becoming a speaker that now he goes around the country and he speaks about, Jesus, and, he has his own ministry in which, him and his wife, help people that have been struggling and going through things. But anyways, I sit right next to him at this Finish Strong, and, he had just gotten his one arm done, like his shoulder, fixed. And the company that fixed it was my old company. And so, like, I said, I used to work for Arthrex. At that time too, I was still too embarrassed to say I got fired, because it was just like, as an athlete, like, you just, the failure side of things was like, I still had a tough time owning my failures. Yeah. Just stuff that, like, pride, God was still doing a work in my heart with pride. And, and I asked him, I was like, would you want to be my mentor? And, that's a super heavy loaded question. And,
yeah.
He said, let me think about it. And I was like, okay. And, so then he, who knows, like, what was going through his head, but he went home, and he called me and said, hey, meet me at Famous Dave's Barbecue off, in Mesa, off Dobson Road. And I was like, okay. And I met him there, and the journey began. And I meet with him every week now. He's become, one of my, best friends, and my mentor, my board chair. He's, but just God puts the right people in your life at the right time and gives you what you need in order to do what you need to do. And so my journey and growth accelerated because I started to get wisdom and wise counsel from people. And that journey in ministry, first year, like, even speaking, like my first time I got up to do, like, my testimony, like, I thought I was going to crush it. And then, 5 minutes before I'm throwing up in the bathroom because I'm like so damn nervous. And then I get out there and I have brain fog. Like I just can't even get the words out of my mouth. And then like I get done and I asked the guy how I did and he said, "You did good." And I was like, whoa, like, but then you just keep going on that journey, man. And I mean, the most beautiful like parts of it, um, like second year difficult, still learning. I started with the football team. I had one guy I was meeting in a coffee shop, but then beautiful things start to happen. The one guy turned into five, turned into 10, and then I'm out at football practice with the guys, and I met the right people to get me connected with that, and then before you know it, like you're in the building. You're doing Bible study in the building, and then this year I got asked to be the football team chaplain, and so I got to travel with the team and be their spiritual leader, and I just look at, and that's in a 3-year period,